Here's 5 tips that you're going to need if you're trying to attempt Helldive difficulty in Helldivers 2. Well, there's going to be a lot more than 5 tips in this video. I can't help myself, but to better format them for you, I'll section this video into 5 chapters. Make sure to liberate that like button to spread managed democracy across the universe, and subscribe for more videos like this. Now, let's dive right on into it, starting with tip number 5. This here's the real deal. You cannot approach every situation the same. Avoid this by knowing your enemy. Make sure to analyze their forces before you approach. And let's start with the best strategies for fighting the bots. Don't spread out too wide. Getting flanked is the #1 cause of unaliving for Helldivers on Helldive difficulty.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Watch each other's flanks and only split up in squads. The buddy system is patriotic and cover fire is critical. Secondly, focus on targets that you built your stratagem loadout to take down. The airburst is great for taking out groups of terminators, and the autocannon is the best option to eliminate devastators, which might be the most important role of any team. You'll need to focus on heavies too, but there's no lack of good tools to explode hulks and tanks. Thirdly is the 3 C's. Cover, cover, and more cover. You will need it to reload, to use your stratagems, and it's the easiest way to not get shot. However, these 3 points are mostly applicable to fighting the toasters. You'll want to switch it up with tip number 4, which is the best approach for fighting the bugs. Unlike the bots, when you are fighting the bugs, stay on the move. They may have projectiles by weaponizing their vomiting, but these attacks are telegraphed, which makes them easy to dodge. Next, identify the fastest bugs. Hunters, stalkers, and chargers have no issue catching you. Once they catch you, they'll slow you down for the hordes to rip you to shreds. Disable these as soon as possible. Bile Titans are their own pile of holy about 500 kilograms of it, and sometimes heavier. But now, let's get into some tips that are applicable for fighting all the enemies of managed democracy with tip number 3. Every Helldiver eventually gives their life for liberty. That's why we have a reinforcement budget, so that we do not lose more of you than we need to. This means that you shouldn't look at your squad mates as a meat shield. Always look before you reinforce, for 2 major reasons. The first is that if you use reinforcements to sacrifice your fellow freedom fighters so that you can escape, you'll have the exact same reinforcement budget than if you were to just die. -1 life is -1 life, whether it's your life or an ally's life. The second is because all equipment deployed for a Helldiver defaults to the property of the super destroyer that Helldiver comes from upon their death. So throw their reinforcements in the area where they can safely reclaim their starship's things. You need to get used to working as a squad, and we'll get into that with tip number 2. Constantly communicate with your team. Call out the enemies, and even if you're using a mic, ping things that you're talking about. Make sure to let your allies know when you are using stratagems so that your squad doesn't call in 2 airstrikes on 1 target. Then, if you need help, make sure that you ask for it. Everyone's typically living in their own world, and they don't know your problems. However, slapping that subscribe button will supply you with more tips that can help you solve your problems. And tip number 1 is all about getting them solved fast. In previous videos, I said to complete the main objective quickly, but that's only because the only thing I care about is liberating planets for democracy. A lot of people let me know that this massively increases the enemy spawn quantities. So, if you're one of those people that needs to get full stars for your service, complete objectives efficiently. The longer you wait, the more elite enemies will spawn. Get in and get out. Finally, here's some more tips of mine that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. Thanks for watching.